Hey guys, Andrew Edwards here from E3 2008 here in the Midway area with
the Fallen Angel Christopher Daniels.
And TNA Knockout Christy Hemme.
That's right, and we're here to talk about TNA Impact, the video game. Actually, TNA's first video game ever. I'm assuming you guys have played it.
Yeah, I've actually played a little bit of it. I'm not the game master like a lot of my friends in TNA are, but I'm slowly but surely getting better at the game, and I think when the game finally comes out, I'm going to be a little bit better than they think. So.
I've been playing today. It's a lot of fun. I like it.
Okay. Are you a big gamer?
I'm not a huge gamer, but I play with the boys when they're playing, and I've been coming to E3 for years, so it's always fun to come back to this show and see all the new stuff that's coming out.
Who are the biggest gamers in TNA?
The big gamers, Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, Frankie Kazarian, Chris Sabin, Alex Shelley, Jay Lethal, Sanjay Dutt, Petey Williams. So
Curryman like games?
Curryman plays a lot of the stuff overseas, so he's more into Fire Pro Wrestling. I don't know if he's gotten the updated stuff, but Fire Pro is his big deal.
And what about the Knockouts? Do they make an appearance in TNA Impact?
Not in this game. I will be in it, but I'm giving Christy's tips, so all of the inside secrets, as well as I'm part of the storylines.
We've always been big fans of Christy's tips. So.
So what would be one of the tips that a gamer might get when you appear on screen?
Honey, you have to play the game, and then you get the tip, okay? But I will give you one Christy tip. Get this game, because it's awesome.
Fair enough, and very good with that. Thanks a lot, guys. Fallen Angel Christopher Daniels and Christy Hemme of TNA. All right, guys, Andrew Edwards back here from E3 2008 with Midway and Dan Hong. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking.
We're going to look at a game that you guys are working on called TNA Impact.
Yes.
What differentiates this game from the typical wrestling experience gamers are used to?
There's two things that we focused on during the development of this game. One was gameplay, and the other was realism. The gameplay aspect, if you've played wrestling games in the past, it's usually an exercise in frustration. You're ending up mashing buttons, throwing the controller around, just because the game's not responding to what you really want it to do. And what we did to address that was that we really strove to get 60 frames per second, which is pretty rare in the wrestling world. Usually it's typical of Street Fighter, Tekken, Soul Calibur. And what you'll notice is that the fast response time really allows you to take advantage of different strategies. Strategies like feinting or faking someone out, typically not known in the wrestling world. So that was a great leap forward for us. Another advantage in gameplay is that in other wrestling games, what usually happens is if I'm grabbing you and we have a match with the third and fourth player, the third and fourth player are stuck watching us finish this animation until I'm done, then they can hit either one of us. But our animation system is robust enough so that if I'm grabbing you, anyone can step in and hit either one of us and break it up at any time. So everyone feels involved in the game at all times. And that's a huge for us. The other aspect I mentioned before is realism, and the fellow standing over there with the beard and the backwards hat, he's actually our character lead, Mark
Check
Lappin.
him out. That's Mark.
And so what him and his team did is they would fly down to Orlando to the Impact Zone where they actually filmed the event. They would take character reference photos and videos so that our game could be that much more realistic. What happens usually in other games is that they may say, oh, you're a beige or you're a tan, and slap on a generic color palette onto the character. And what we did instead, when I say photo reference, I really mean photo reference. So when we took each wrestler's reference photo, if they had a pimple, a mole, a scar, anything on their skin that was in the photo was transferred directly onto the game. And a favorite story we like to brag about is like when AJ Styles was getting ready for his photo, he actually got bumped in the face like the day before while practicing, and he busted his lip open. And he told us, oh no, don't put it in, I don't want to look funny in the video game. But we thought it looked great, and we put it in anyways, just because it added an aspect of realism, like a real grittiness to the game.
Did he get mad at you?
No, he actually liked it too. It didn't make him look funny at all. It made him look tougher, which every wrestler likes. And so that gives you an example of what really shines in our game. Another aspect we like to brag about is instead of a generic 3D model for a head that other games may use, we actually did an individual head scan of every single wrestler to map out three-dimensionally their facial structure, the shape of their head. And so you'll notice, like, say for example, Kurt Angle, his shape has a slope to it, or his head has a slope to it, and we captured that spot on. So then when you map a face onto an actual head, then you don't get any distortion or stretching of the facial features. And the last aspect of realism I like to brag about is the animations themselves. Typically, in other games, if animations are hand done or if they're kind of mimicked and not really live, what happens is that the animations may look too fast or too slow. They don't really fall according to gravity.
Right.
But here, all of our animations are motion captured by actual TNA wrestlers. And it looks awesome because, for example, Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, Christian Cage, like those guys all came in and they would do their moves. And so what you have is like the actual finishers, the actual signature moves that TNA...
The way they be performed.
Exactly. And we actually got the wrestlers' input as well. And they would say, oh, this should be done differently, or this should be done faster. And no, this person would never do this move. And so with their feedback, this game is probably the most realistic TNA or any wrestling game in general.
Cool. Well, do you want to show it to us?
Oh, definitely.
How many wrestlers are we going to see in this game?
Right now, we've officially released around 20 to 25 that you'll be able to see in this demo. We do have several more that I'm not allowed to talk about, and we do have downloadable characters as well.
You also have a creator wrestler in this one?
We do. And when you have, we have a story mode, which is different than other wrestling games. Typically, you may see a career mode, which is pretty boring after a while. And what happens in career mode is you play matches over and over again and just race stats, and it's pretty boring. Here we have an actual story mode where there's a plot. It goes into the inner workings of behind the scenes of TNA, the politics, the backstabbing. It's great. And we actually have full motion cinema that involves the actual TNA people with their voice acting. So, and obviously part of story is when you start out, you have a creator player section where you can customize and create your own wrestler.
Does the storyline branch out like in different directions depending on choices you make? Or
I can't go into too much depth about the story mode. But here you have the Ultimate X, like you mentioned. It's a match type that TNA invented, and as you can see, there's an X hanging from above the ring where the ropes cross. And since it's unique to TNA, and we're the first company to do a TNA video game, it's unique to our game as well. In this match type, pins and submissions don't count, so it's whoever grabs the X first is the winner.
So we're looking at the Impact Zone here, obviously. How many other venues are you guys going to have in here? Can you talk about that?
We have 7 in total, and the only one I'm allowed to talk about here is Orlando, and it is true to life to the Impact Zone. When Mark went to take reference photos of the characters, he also took reference photos of the entire arena as well. And what you'll notice is the mat, for example. Mark actually got onto a crane that was above the ring, looked down, and took reference pictures of the mat itself, and you'll see actual textures from the mat. I don't think I'm allowed to talk about like, oh, that's a blood stain or whatnot, but what you see on the mat was there. Exactly. It's a tomato stain for all we know.
Keep it non-rated M.
Exactly. So what we have over here is, let's see. There's punches, there's kicks, there's grabs. And what you'll see is that, like I said before, the animations are super fluid, super lifelike. And we also have reversals too, so if he keeps punching at me... Oh, I mistimed that reversal.
Now we're seeing style points. What do those factor in?
So the fancier move you do, the more style points you get. And there I pulled off a reversal. But later in the game, you'll be able to unlock different aspects, different cap items, whether it's... There you go. That's my favorite animation in the game, actually. But you'll have different aspects you can unlock, whether it's the new characters, new levels. Style points can unlock many things in the game.
And we're also seeing an impact meter. What does that do?
Exactly. As you cause damage, your impact meter will fill up, and when you fill up all the way, it'll light on fire and drain out. And as it's draining out, you'll have the ability to pull off a finisher. The bar at the very top that you're seeing is the Ultimate X bar. So if I were to show you what it looks like, what happens is if I successfully complete this minigame without him swatting me, I can show you what that looks like. Let's see. Here you can see for Samoa Joe, it gradually fills up. Whoever fills it up first wins.
How would he stop you from doing that? Does he also climb over?
He could also climb the ropes. He could kick me while I'm performing that. You could also drag people down. I'll show after he kicks me down. I'll show you what it looks like to jump up and grab somebody. Let's see. Oh.
450.
Here we go. That bottom bar that's draining right now is my stun meter. Once it's filled up, I'm stunned until it drains completely. You can also notice that the chair took damage while he was hitting me with it.
Yeah.
So it shows you that you can't use the chair forever. If he jumps back up, I could either jump up and grab him. I could have used the chair to swat him. There's a number of ways that you can play this game. So,
one of the biggest things about TNA is the X Division. How have you guys, or what have you done to like incorporate the feel, aside from the Ultimate X match, of the X Division wrestlers?
I mean, take for example the high flyer moves. We do have 3 wrestling classes. We have brawlers, grapplers, and high flyers. The high flyers, like Samoa Joe or this is Sabin, for example, they're both high flyers. They can really take advantage of the fact that you can do rope spring attacks, and the fact that Ultimate X itself is usually privy to only the high flyers. It really shows off that fact. So I'm stunned right now. Here we go. Try to. Here I dodged him. I got lucky. Oh, not so lucky there. So,
what other modes of gameplay are you guys going to have in here?
We do have several types. We do have several that we are allowed to show today. We do have tag team, free for all, Ultimate X, obviously, Ultimate X free for all. So any of these games, you can imagine how crazy it would be when you have a 3rd or 4th player trying to stop you the entire time. Oh, here, pins don't really make a difference here. We do have regular exhibition matches too. Like they're called.
You guys doing 6 sides of steel?
I can't comment on everything, but it'll definitely keep you in store. We purposely made this mini game difficult so that it gives the other players a chance to catch up to me if I screw up and my legs drop. It does take a while, and I've had a couple people that play this can get it on their first try every time. Really? It's pretty amazing, but obviously my timing has not improved over the days of playing this game straight. But you can see I'm almost done, like maybe 2 more times. Let's see.
You have online multiplayer here?
We do. I can't tell you too much about the details, but we do have online multiplayer for both 360 and PS3. Here we have it.
When are we going to see TNA Impact in stores?
All 4 SKUs are coming out in September, this coming September, so it's coming up quick. And it's going to be for 360, PS3, PS2, and Wii.
Thanks a lot, Dan, for showing us TNA Impact.